In the world of Formula One racing, innovation and performance are the keys to success. Every team constantly searches for new ways to gain an edge over the competition. The designers read the regulations several times to determine how to get around it and take advantage of it. And in 1978, the Brabham team found just that with the BT46B, a car that would become known as the Fan Car. In 1978, Lotus dominated Formula One with their experimental ground effect cars, which used specially shaped channels underneath the car to reduce the air pressure and increase downforce. At the time, Brabham team designer Gordon Murray's search to a competitive edge is taken to new extremes with his extraordinary fan car. The fan was born out of necessity because Lotus had invented the ground effect. The Lotus at the time worked on their aerodynamics to achieve ground effects, sucking the car to the track and allowing more grip, especially at corners, achieving more cornering speeds. This became a challenge to all the teams on the grid to come up with something creative to achieve the ground effect, just like Lotus. But there was a problem with Murray and the Brabham team. The Alfa Romeo Flat 12 used in the year's car was too wide to allow the use of Venturi tunnels, which are the essential mechanism to achieve the ground effect. This is where Murray finds a loophole in the wording of the rulebook, which states that a movable device cannot be used to give an aerodynamic advantage. The inspiration came from an American race car constructed by Chaparral in 1970, known as 2J. It had two fans at the rear of the car, which sucked the air from underneath the car's chassis, sticking it to the ground. Murray therefore designed a large fan, which he can argue is used for cooling the engine, but with the advantage of sucking the car to the road, creating the so-called ground effect. After consulting with various parties, it was widely agreed that as long as the fan's primary purpose on the car was cooling, it would be legal. Only half of the fan's job was to cool the radiators, leaving plenty of room for the fan to create the necessary suction beneath the car to significantly improve the ground effect. With trial and error and doing the sum several times, he stuck a bloody great big fan on the back of the car, which was driven off the gearbox, and sealed the entire motorcar to the ground, so it had the whole car under suction. Just as Lotus had issues with their skirts on the 78, Brabham anticipated a similar issue and looked for ways to keep the edge of the floor sealed. Before moving forward, if you like our content, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. The team chose a hinged solution that folded up as the car was sucked to the ground, a phenomenon that was also visible when the car was stationary. To keep the fan spinning at the correct speed, the car had to be driven counterintuitively, with the driver adding throttle to counter the understeer he'd normally get on corner entry rather than lifting out of the throttle. This, combined with the possibility of skirt failure, resulted in a pitted tube mounted on the car's nose and an altitude meter installed in the BT46B's cockpit. On corner entry, the driver would check the gauge and accelerate if it was in the green, and they would know when to slow down if a skirt failed or if it was red. It was not that easy for Murray and the team, as they had to redesign the whole car within 3 months and come up with a fan that would survive the forces at nearly 8,000 RPM, not to forget the total diameter to be 18 inches without falling into pieces. With much testing and many exploded fans, Murray's secret weapon was finally unveiled at the Swedish Grand Prix for the first time. That day, the Brabham BT46B, also known as the Fan Car, was born. The word quickly went around the other teams that Brabham had this car with a fan on the back. It quickly got the center of attention of everyone, and the design engineer of Lotus immediately saying that it was illegal. Nobody took a lot of notice of it until it was started, and that is when the people around the grid thought it was gonna be quick, and their speculations came out to be true. Murray said the car could go around hairpin bends just as quick as you could, around 150 miles per hour, so it had a massive advantage. The team tried to ensure the car did not look quick, so Bernie made the drivers qualify with full tanks. The most interesting and unusual part of the fan car was that when the car came in and had to race it, they would use a dustbin lid to put it over the fan. Despite protests from the opposing teams, the BT46B of Brabham was allowed to race, driven by Argentine driver Niki Lauda and British driver John Watson. When the car accelerated, the fan sucked the car to the ground as the downforce increased. They qualified second and third behind race leader Mario Andretti. The race started and the Brabhams were immediately competitive. The other drivers were outraged by the car, especially those who had to follow it, and complained that the car was sweeping all the dust and rubbish off the racetrack. Mario Andretti said during the race that the car would kill him as the car was chucking rocks all around the track. Still, in an interview, he said when they were getting blasted tremendously, the obvious thing is, if something is working better, you try to use whatever excuse to say it's not good. Lauda won the race by more than 34 seconds, despite not wanting to show how dominant the car was, lapping all but his teammate, John Watson, who finished second. The fan car had made an impression on the Formula One world, and it appeared that Brabham had found the perfect solution to their performance issues. However, the success of the BT46B was short-lived. The car's innovative design quickly drew the attention of the FIA, as other teams were outraged by Brabham's massive advantage due to its fan. The FIA objected to the use of the fan, claiming that it violated the rules, which required a moving aerodynamic vehicle. The organization also expressed concern about the fans, who were capable of hurling debris and rocks into the air. Murray and the Brabham team insisted that the fan was for cooling purposes and pointed out that using a fan was not illegal, as the fan was not a movable aerodynamic device, which was actually a loophole found by Murray in the rulebook. However, he knew that the fan was not only for cooling purposes, but gave an edge over aerodynamics. As the Constructors Association was not important, that's why FIA urged the team to remove the groundbreaking innovation by Murray, to which he was really pissed off with the decision. In response, Brabham withdrew the car from the competition, and the BT46B became known as a one-race wonder. However, its legacy lives on as one of the most innovative and daring cars in the history of Formula One. While it may have only raced once, the Brabham BT46B left an incredible mark on the world of Formula One. Its innovative design paved the way for future developments in ground effect technology, and its brief but glorious appearance on the track is still celebrated by racing fans today. And that's a wrap, folks. The Brabham BT46B was an absolute beast of an F1 car, and it's no wonder that it remains a favorite among racing fans to this day. From its innovative fan system to its dominance on the track, it truly was a marvel of engineering. But if you're looking for more incredible F1 stories, then you won't want to miss our next video. We'll be taking a closer look at another groundbreaking F1 car, the six-wheel machine that shook up the sport and left an incredible mark on racing history.